Then this side is my dry food storage. So you got, breads, coffee, peanut butter and jelly. I could probably go 2 weeks just on what I have here.
That's extremely well organized.
Organization is everything in this business.
It really is.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our next video. Today we're going to meet Eric. Hi Eric.
Hello.
Welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
And you are in a Jeep Wrangler.
Yes.
I love Jeep Wranglers, especially the 4 doors. And so I've done a few videos on them. So how did you end up in a Jeep Wrangler, and are you enjoying it?
Oh, I love the Wrangler. It's such a capable vehicle. I bought it in 2019. I was in a Nissan Xterra for 16 years. Kept that thing forever. I wanted a manual transmission. So this thing is a 6-speed manual, and my old Xterra was also a manual. So I wanted to continue that, and this is the only SUV made with manual transmission. Went ahead and pulled the trigger on it, and have had it ever since. So.
And how have you ended up living in it?
Well, I back in 2023, I got laid off from my job. Decided to, after a year of looking and not finding anything, I decided to sell my house and travel now. I'm young enough to enjoy it, be able to hike and eat all the food I want, and get out on the road and just explore.
Yeah. And so, like a lot of people, you got laid off and you just said, well, I'm going to go. And you probably had savings and things like that you're living on.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the sale of my house, I was able to, put that in the stock market and live off some of the proceeds from that.
So are you thinking in terms of going back to work, or just traveling for a while?
I gave myself a year to see if I liked it. So I'm 10 months in now. So I'm enjoying it, seeing parts of the country I'd never even dreamed of seeing, really. And it's been amazing. I don't plan to stop anytime soon, but if it ever happens, I can always go, work a regular Home Depot job or something. And
there's always a job.
There's always a job.
A lot of people would look at the Jeep Wrangler, even the 4-door, and think, how can you possibly live in that? Has it worked pretty well for you?
It's worked pretty well. I mean, there's some, things you have to give up, like headroom. But I've built it out to have a sleeping platform in back, so I can actually stretch out.
The crawling in must be a little bit tight.
It can be, but I've gotten used to it.
So why don't we just go take a look at your rig?
Okay, let's go.
So there's your outdoor kitchen right there. Boy, that's handy.
Yeah, so this is my kitchen table, and I've built my platform out of extruded aluminum, so it's like an old Rector set that you kind of bolt together. And then I've got 3/4 inch plywood on top to make my sleeping platform, and then I built the drawers out of 3/4 inch plywood as well. So back here I have my Jetboil base camp stove. It's a clamshell type, so it folds out and takes up most of the table there.
So it's a 2-burner.
2-burner, yeah. And then I've got my propane up here that I can connect up to it directly. And I just leave the hose up here connected, so it's ready to go whenever I need it. And then I built dividers into the drawers so that I can, set my utensil basket there. And then I have 2 cast iron pans, then a pasta cooker underneath there.
Nice. That is really efficient.
These collapsible little Tupperware containers are amazing. They fold down really nicely, and
I have not seen that before.
It's just an Amazon find, really, and they work great. They don't spill liquid. You can keep
really sealed
sauces
tight.
And stuff in there, and it seals really tight. Yeah, it's nice. And this side is my dry food storage. So you got breads, coffee, peanut butter and jelly, and I've got just dry food storage back here. I could probably go 2 weeks just on what I have here.
That's extremely well organized.
And then underneath, I keep my tortilla storage.
Sure, that keeps them cool.
Then on this side, I've got a collapsible sink, so I can do dishes if I need to, or I also use it to shave my bald head. In my side carriers here, I have another Jetboil, so I can make coffee with that. And then this is a small propane tank as well. This is a camping stove I have, so it's a propane and isobutane stove, so I can use either fuel with it. But that's more of a backup in case my other big stove fails or anything. Spice storage, and then a couple cooking pots. And a lot of this gear is left over from my camping days. I have tons of camping gear that has suited me well for this adventure. So I have 2 rotopacks. There's 2-gallon rotopacks here for water.
And so talking about aftermarket products, this was an aftermarket product made specifically by Outback for this rig.
Yes, absolutely. It was unique in that the entire back panel is aluminum, and I liked that. Some of them are made of plastic, so they're not quite as durable. One of the things I obviously love about it is the extendable table. So it's cutting board / table, and I use that all the time. So I can keep my, the stove goes here, and I can keep my whatever I'm prepping over here.
Yeah, other than bad weather, this is a perfect setup.
Yeah, it works great. And yeah, like you said, the only time that it's really a problem is when it's raining or bad weather. And I do have up in one of my bins up top, I have a canopy that I can deploy if need be when the weather's not the best, so that I can still cook outside.
The aftermarket for these Jeeps is just deep and rich.
Yes, you can pretty much find anything you need to attach to your Jeep or whatever. Going up here to the bed, this is just 4-inch foam, and then there's a memory foam standard, mattress topper on top of it. And then this is just a cover for a body pillow, but it's actually my extra sleeping bag. Stuffed in there. Brilliant. So I have a hammock, tent hammock. It's a hammock that actually can be used on the ground as a tent as well. And so I'll use that inside my hammock when I have it deployed. So over here, I have a kick-ass awning. This is my shower awning. So it's made for, being able to take a shower in, but I use it for a changing room, my bathroom when I need privacy.
Sure.
And then over on the other side, I have a collapsible toilet that just pops up, and when duty calls, I can deploy this if I need to. If I'm out in the middle of nowhere in the desert, then I can just, go wherever. But like right now, I was camped over at High Jolly, and I need a little bit of privacy, and I deployed that, and it was good to go. So then here I have my Dometic 35-liter fridge. And then underneath on the platform is more food storage. Another good Amazon find I had is anytime we get those grocery bags, they become my trash bags. And so I have a little bag there to store them in and pull one out every time I need a trash bag. Organization is everything in this business.
It really is.
It's necessary to have all that stuff organized and have its place so you know where it's at. All right, so this side is where I get in at. So this is my doormat. It's nice to be able to, so when we're on rocky ground like this, I can deploy my doormat and be able to step out with bare feet and not kill my feet. So when I'm staying at a place longer, I have a big rollout carpet. Sometimes I put this out in the back over here. Other times I lay it out on this side, but it's about 6 feet long. And what is that, about 2 feet? Foot and a half, 2 feet wide, something like that. This is my clothes storage underneath. I can demonstrate getting in because I pretty much get in just like this. Sit down and then put my head in. And I can...
Oh my.
So it's not too hard.
And so you just keep the front seat open?
Well, it's kind of the collector of all stuff.
Right, that's the bottom line.
So this is my collapsible toilet. So it collapses real small.
Is that metal?
No, it's plastic.
Okay,
and I've painted it.
Nice.
Pretty sturdy. Then I've got the bags that go in it down here. And then extra water storage up front as well. This is my gym bag. So when I get to the gym, I'll pack my clothes and everything else in there.
And so you do have some storage up top?
Yes. So these are actual Harbor Freight Apache rifle cases that have been, I took out all the foam that they come with and repurposed them. I have, one side has tools and recovery gear and things like that I need if I'm, out trying to push my Jeep to its limits. And then another side has other camping gear.
And then, you've done something unusual with those. That's also your solar panel.
Yes. So the solar panels I got there's 2 50-watt panels. They're made by, I believe, Go Solar, which I believe is a Dometic company. And I got them because they fit perfectly on this box. And then that runs have that running down through the hardtop into my Anker battery. I have the Anker Solix C1000.
Nice battery.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been working really well. And basically the only thing I need to really charge constantly is the battery for the fridge.
Right.
And then also my Starlink.
Right. So you are running Starlink.
I am, being a YouTuber, it helps to have internet anywhere.
Tell us about your YouTube channel.
Well, I got started about 10 months ago. Posted my first video. I gave myself about a year to see if I couldn't, get a following and make a little bit of money at it. I have gotten monetized, but I really haven't made much money at it yet.
No.
But that comes with time.
It takes time.
But the thing I love about it is it gives me something to do during the day.
Right.
I can get out there and it forces me to go find new hikes or, interesting things to film.
Now, I have seen guys that will pull a little tiny, what are they, 5x7 cargo trailers?
Yeah, I've kind of looked at that. People have asked me, why don't you have a rooftop tent? Well, I don't want to, my age, I don't want to get out and climb a ladder to go pee in the middle of the night.
No, that's a big deal.
And then, also it puts so much weight up top.
It does.
That I would be tippy trying to get on some of the trails that I get out on. Yeah, I find this is the perfect setup for me. I thought about pulling a trailer, but that just adds more stuff and ruins my gas mileage a little bit.
You bet.
So
a lot of wear and tear on the rig.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and they make a lot of these really cool off-road trailers, but boy, they're expensive.
Yep.
Outrageous.
Yeah, and if somebody was handy, they could build one themselves. But
yes.
I'm not that handy. I have my compressor switched, so it's right here under the seat. And you can actually see my old air hose intake, but I've actually switched it to be back behind where I store my hose. Yeah, that used to be hooked up, but it's not anymore. It's actually, I have to push the seat forward to get to the inlet. So then I also have on my aux switches, I have a relay going to, so that I can turn on and off the Bluetti charger, the DC-DC charger, so that it doesn't pull power when I don't want it to.
You hear that the newer Jeeps are not all that reliable. How's it been for you?
I've had some ups and downs. There's a lot of electrical gremlins I'm going through right now. And my biggest problem is the dealerships don't want to touch it. They want to throw parts at a Jeep and get you out the door. They don't want to sit there and figure out what's happening with your Jeep. I go to them when I need an expert, and they have not been the experts. So that's my biggest problem. Reliability-wise, the biggest problem I had was with my clutch. The clutch was under a recall. So it's a 6-speed manual, and their clutches were failing. The flywheel was literally exploding and would exit out the housing and cut the fuel line and then burn your Jeep to the ground.
Oh my goodness.
And so obviously recall. The first recall they did was to put a sheath around the fuel lines or something like that, so that they wouldn't get cut if the flywheel exploded.
Well, it'd be very handy if the flywheel did not explode.
Exactly. And so then they were replacing the clutch, but they it was all on back order. So I ended up putting in a aftermarket clutch, but it failed after 3 months, 4 months.
Oh no.
And I was in Crown King, Arizona when that started going out, and that's up on top of a mountain. And at the same time, one of my control arms broke in the back, or this one broke, and then the other one on the other side was starting to break. And so I was stuck in Prescott, Arizona at the 4x4 shop there, and for about a week and a half, and getting everything fixed. So I had them replace my control arms with all new control arms, and then replace the clutch at the same time with a better one. And
was that covered under warranty because you weren't?
No, it was already over 5 years old, and so I had to pay out of pocket for that. And that was a pricey week.
I don't even want to ask.
It was expensive.
Yeah, and the aftermarket. The great thing is, if it's a known failure point, somebody out there is going to make an indestructible one.
Right.
But boy, they're gonna charge you.
Yes, that's pretty much how it went. The control arms I had a full lift kit, and it came with the lift kit. And it was a reputable brand. Everybody talked about how great they were. So I'm like, okay, it's about half the price of the big expensive ones. And so I went with that one. Well, I don't know if it was because of all the weight I now have in the Jeep that caused them to fail, or if it was just a bad weld or what. I don't really know. So yeah, I went with a better brand, and they've been working out really well since. So I'm pretty happy.
So all in all, you've put a whole bunch of money into this thing.
I have, yeah.
And a lot of time.
Time, yep, and money.
And sitting on the side of the road or on the top of a mountain.
Top of a mountain, yeah.
Yeah. Eric, remind us again of your YouTube channel.
Yeah, my channel is Wide Open Air. That actually comes from the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You Will Go, where he says it's opener out there in the wide open air. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of catchy. So
sure.
I kind of stole it from that.
And he's an expert.
He is.
So. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it, Eric. I love your setup. Love Love what you've done here.
Yeah, well, thank you, Bob. You're a legend in this business. So.
Oh, well, thank you. Folks, I hope you've been inspired, or if nothing else, you've just lived vicariously. You know, think about all the places you could go in this. That's kind of one of my dreams. So if you got anything out of this video, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you on the next video. See you then.